Well, have the Democrats finally done it? Have they overplayed their hand with their black constituents with this invasion of illegal aliens into the country and into some of their constituents' spaces in their district? Because, every day we see these clips of these black people that said they're fed up with it. I mean, they're on the mics. They're any mic they can find. They're standing outside of buildings. They're running to city council meetings and town halls, and they're saying, we're not going to take this anymore, and we're going to show you at the booth in November. We're going to show you. You're not going to treat us like this. That's what you're hearing, and some of them are saying that. Some of them are just complaining, but some of them are saying, and some of them have become activists, and they said, we're going to show you, Democrats. We're the ones that have been voting for you, and we're going to show you. Now, a lot of black conservatives think that there's a shift. They're feeling optimistic, and they say, well, maybe this has done it. They've done it. Now these black people are going to walk away. It was a clip the other day they were showing. I don't know where these people were, what they were having, but this black woman was on the mic, and she was going on and on and on. And this black guy said, hey, who did you vote for? And she admitted she voted for Biden. And he says, well, this is your fault. Now everybody's like, boom, he told her. Woo, he told her. But what I wanted to do, I said, I need to see the rest of it because I want to see what her response was because she admitted she voted for Biden. Well, somebody found the entire thing and they posted it on Twitter. And I was very disappointed because you know what she said after he told her that? She said that the president doesn't have any power. And it was Congress that has the power and they released the money. And then she turned around and guess who she blamed for it all? Trump. She said Trump didn't build a wall. And Biden don't have any power. And this all has to do with Congress. So basically, she explained it away. Which tells me, if you can explain it away, then you're going to still vote in November for Biden because he had nothing to do with this. He has no power. I notice every time when there's a Democrat in power and the economy is tanking and all this stuff is going on, all of a sudden that Democrat president doesn't have any power. But if it's a Republican, they have all the power. So I remember when Obama was in office. And the unemployment rate for black people was way up to 13%. And this was after the so-called stimulus package. Okay. And it was just a mess. So the media fed black people this narrative that Obama had. He don't have his hands are tied. He don't have any power. I remember I was at my hairstylist, and he was washing my hair, and my head was back in the sink, and she said to me, all this time I thought the president had power. Come to find out the president don't have any power. Because she had bought into what they were telling her about Obama. He had no power. So I didn't even get into it with her because it would have been a whole history lesson. Because my thinking is, this is ridiculous. But this is what they say. So I guess they're doing the same thing with Biden. He had nothing to do with any of this. Nothing is his fault. He's the president, but he don't have no power. It's Congress. So if you can explain it away, then to me you haven't learned. So I don't feel too optimistic because that was ridiculous. That was completely dumb because she didn't take it any step further and say, okay, well, how come? See, this is where common sense comes in. All of this happened under Biden. And none of this happened under Trump. She claimed Trump didn't build a wall and all that foolishness or whatever. And okay, well, if that's the case, when Trump was in office for 4 years, how come they didn't invade then? How come? You see, the problem is they don't go any farther with their thinking. They stop right there. I don't know whether it's done on purpose or they just don't have the ability to go any farther and say, okay, why is it happening now? That's my question. Why is it happening now? And instead, you want to explain it away. So I don't feel too optimistic. Now, I think it was yesterday, Candace Owens went on the Breakfast Club. And everybody went wild because, first of all, they allowed her to come on there. They invited her, of course. And of course, she did an excellent job because she always does. She's very articulate, very intelligent, and she gets her points across very effectively, I think. But that is not the case as far as being a shift. Now, it's always good to go on someone else's platform, okay? You don't need to be in an echo chamber. You don't need to preach to the choir, as they say. You do need to go on somebody else's platform and get your message across. And so by her going on there, I'm quite sure some people that were listening that were not on the, not Republicans, probably said, well, she's telling the truth and she's making a lot of sense. But it's not her that's got me discouraged. It is the whole platform itself. Because see, the Breakfast Club is a liberal platform, just like CNN and anything else. It's just like them. Who you think is paying their bills? Democrats. Do you think they're on air and they're going to change their rhetoric Monday morning? When they come back on air or whatever, they're going to go right back to what they've always. They're not going to start talking, maybe we should, look at some of these Republican policies and how well they did. You think they're going to do that? No, they're not going to do that. Now, what they will do, they will air all black people's grievances, like this stuff with the border. They'll talk about all of that. But then they won't go any farther with it. They'll just talk about it. They're doing this because they will never name who's causing it. They'll talk about the issue with the border and how black people poor blacks are having to suffer and this, that, and the other. And the funds have been taken away from them and given to the illegals. They will talk about that all day long, but they'll never say who's causing this. They'll never go any farther with it. And then as it gets closer to November, I guarantee you that's when the rhetoric is going to start back to the Democrats. Vote for Democrats. Something, think somebody's something. But it's not going to, because that's when they need them the most. Because, what's his name? I can't even think of his name now. I could pronounce it the other day. Shyamalan or whatever. Charmaine, the God or whatever. He's a gatekeeper. He had that interview with Biden in 2020, and Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. He complained about it, but he still told people to vote for him. In fact, I remember right when it got close to 2020, it ticked me off. He was telling people who were bragging about how well they were doing, black people, who were bragging about how well they were doing economically under Trump. You know what he was telling people? Just because somebody put some money in your pocket, you still don't need to vote for him. Now, first of all, he, instead, put money in your pocket as though he was like Trump just handed them out. No, he gave them good jobs. That's basically what people were bragging about. That everybody had good jobs. Anybody that wanted a job had one. People's 401ks were doing well. So he told them to not focus on that and to focus on Trump's rhetoric. Don't focus on the money and the economy. Don Lemons told them the same thing. This is right before the election. That's what they do. They don't care how well you're doing. And they don't care how bad Democrats are doing right now. When it gets time to election, they're going to try to tell you, don't pay attention to this. Yeah, the border, whatever, blah, blah. But, somebody's a racist. Somebody's a white supremacist. So Don Lemons had told them, don't focus on the economy. Don't focus on any of that. Get your mind off of that and think about Trump's rhetoric. So a lot of people voted against Trump based on rhetoric. I remember after Biden got in office, and we were just suffering so with the grocery prices still going on. But when it first started hitting people, this black lady was complaining about the groceries and the high gas prices. And then she said, now we voted against Trump because we were tired, he needed to go because we were tired of his rhetoric. And then she went on to start complaining about what was going on. So I'm thinking, okay, you voted against somebody and you were doing fine, excellent under him, and you said we voted against him because he had to go because we were tired of his rhetoric. Now she had been fed that. See, she didn't come up with it on her own because that's the narrative that they told him. Say you're tired of his rhetoric. So you mean to tell me I'm going to vote against somebody because of something they say? But I'm doing good. The policies that impact me, the same ones that you're complaining about right now because you can't buy eggs and this, that, and the other. But his rhetoric had to make me let him go. So this is what I'm saying. So that's why I don't feel too optimistic. I don't want to be a downer, but it's just hard for me to even understand why they haven't left a long time ago with all these facts that's been out there. So maybe now, but we'll see. Because listen, again, remember I said they will talk about the issues, but they will never point how these issues got here, who's responsible for these issues. They won't talk about that part. They'll just complain. I watched this YouTube channel. It's called, I think, Hezekiah News. Now, I hope I'm pronouncing this man's name correctly because he might be watching. I don't know whether he knows who I am or not, but I love his station because he uploads old documentaries from the 70s, 80s, and some 90s, and they're like special reports of things going on. It was aired like it was on regular news stations that did. Back then they used to do special reports. And the things that he uploads in these videos that he uploads are things that were going on in the black community in the 70s and 80s. And so when you listen to them, it's things like poverty, the crack cocaine, the prison reform, police brutality, all that same stuff, racism, violence. But poverty, they really going on the poverty thing, and poor education, school systems and all that in the black community. But when you watch those videos, it's like right now, it's no different. And a lot of people that comment under the videos say, this is the same thing that's going on right now. Now, this is 2024, and this is 1970, something that this video is out. What does that tell you? That tells you that nothing has changed. Now, listen, the people in those videos, they're on the mic, too. They're complaining. They're saying, we need to change, and they're going on and on, just like they're doing right now. They're complaining about all the issues. They're at town halls. They're at town council meetings. They're on the mic. They're just like right now. Some activists are talking the same thing. How come it's still the same then? Ask yourself that. I'll tell you why. Because the same people are in office. That's why. They didn't change anything. They just complained and hollered, just like they're hollering right now. So my thing is, if you really want to solve a problem, you have to first point to what's the root cause and then do something about it. So I really don't feel like, hey, we're going to see a big change. Listen, Trump should not get no less than 20% of the black vote. He shouldn't be at no 8%. He should be at no less than 20%. But some of these people, if they're like that crazy woman, that dumb woman, after that guy said, who did you vote for? And she was proud to say she voted for Biden. And he said, well, that's your fault. She didn't. She explained it away, people. And if they can explain it away again after suffering like this, if you're not going to say it's Democrats' fault, it's Biden's fault, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I really do hope a lot of people wake up. But see, I've lost faith, people, in people. I've lost faith in people because when people don't use common sense, to me, there's no hope. Because if you don't use your brains, what are you going to use then? How do you come to your conclusions? How do you come to your conclusions? And you don't have to be highly educated to say, wait a minute, when Trump was in office, this wasn't happening. And Biden's in office, it's happening. How come it's all of a sudden not Biden's fault? Explain that to me. So if you can let somebody in the media tell you a way to explain it away from Democrats and continue to vote Democrats while you suffer, then you need to get off the mic. Get off the mic. So anyway, I just want to pose that question. Do you think this will find, because they've really overplayed their hands, Democrats. They always overplay their hand. They've overplayed their hand, but they don't even care. That's the part that's getting me. These are their districts. Okay, think about it. How many of these representatives have said anything about the situation in their own districts that their constituents are complaining about? I haven't heard. At least I haven't. Every one of those districts are run by some black person. They're not run by white people. Those districts, those poor districts, they're run by black Democrats. So their representative is up there in D.C. But I haven't heard any of them come out. All I've heard them lie about is, well, we got this immigration bill. You don't need an immigration bill. That's a lie. That's what they're telling them. And the Republicans are stopping it. All this would go away. All your problems would be solved if Republicans would just sign this $1 trillion bill, immigration bill, instead of saying, really all they have to do is just close the border. But see, that's what they feed them, bills and stuff. And nobody can take it any farther in their mind and say, okay, well, Trump didn't have a bill to sign. What did Trump do? How did he stop it? Did they have to sign a bill to stop? No, all you do is close the door, basically, close the border. But they don't understand that, and their representatives are going to lie to them and gaslight them and not tell them that. So hopefully they wake up. But I'm telling you, I don't really believe that they will. Because, again, if you can, but a lot of people will. I'm not saying a lot of them won't, but Trump should not get no less than 20% of black votes. Some of the black people are saying they're going to vote for Trump, and some of them said, I'm just not going to vote for nobody. Well, see, that tells you they don't want to blame Democrats. They just get mad. A lot of them saying they're going to show Democrats by not voting, period, and just let them suffer. They don't understand they're being replaced, but that's a whole nother video and a whole nother topic. You'll never get them to understand that. There are some people that will understand it, but there are some that won't, okay? We look back, again, at 2020. Ice Cube. Do y'all remember Ice Cube? He was trying his best. He was trying his best. He had to awaken, and he saw what was happening to his people, and he wanted to help. So he went on a rampage. So when it was close to 2020 election, he asked to meet. Remember? Do y'all remember that? He asked to meet with both campaigns. He went to the Biden campaign, and they told him to come back after the election. He went to the Trump campaign, who was already working on a platinum deal for Black Americans. A platinum. I think it was $50 billion. And Ice Cube met with them, and he had some things that he wanted done implemented in that bill. This was ready to go. All Trump had to do was swear in. And it didn't happen because, of course, Trump didn't get sworn in. But the thing is, they told him, Ice Cube, to come back after the election. They didn't even want to meet with him. So that tells that they don't think Black people are important. And if you can't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't see people for who they are, when they show you who they are, they've shown you. Now this is showing you. Oh, did I talk about the town hall where that what was it? A town hall where there was a black lady complaining, and that might have been Chicago, about all the money being spent on the illegals, and an illegal alien man said to her, "No more money for you. You're lazy. No more money for." He mocked her. Now listen, again, if this had been a white man saying this to a Black woman, now she's an American citizen. Whether she's lazy or not is beside the point. She's an American citizen. He's an illegal alien. He told her, because she was complaining about all the money, the money is what got him all upset, that these illegals were getting. And he says, "No more money for you. You're lazy. No more money for you." Now, it had been a white man saying that, people. First of all, the media would have run with it. The only reason I saw it was because people putting it on clips, all over. That's how I saw it. Had a white man said that to a Black woman, he would have been first of all, he would have been a Trump supporter, and he'd have been a white supremacist to talk that way. But no, they sit back and allow an illegal alien man, a non-citizen, to tell a Black citizen, "You're lazy, no more money for you," and mocked her because she was upset because they were giving him the money. So when people show you who they are you supposed to believe them, people. Have a blessed day.